So here I am. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the news lately about this whole protests with Antifa and the far right, and I think it's all crazy. And I feel really weird when I hear a figure who I really have a distaste in my mouth for. It's Donald Trump. I'm not a fan of the guy. I really don't like him. I think he's an idiot. But when he came out the other day and said that there's blame on both sides, I think there's some truth to that. Now, I'm not giving him any credit, I'm not supporting him or anything like that. But we need to talk about these things. Society's become so polarized lately. I'm here in Vancouver. This is my last week working for the man. I'm heading back to the East Coast here soon. Join us on our adventure. Me and my wife and child will be heading across Canada. Hope you guys follow along. But I'm here with my buddy, my co-worker, a good friend of mine, Mohammed. And yeah, he's an immigrant. You know what? He's an awesome guy. We had some discussions about this whole open borders thing. He's from Algeria. And we've been having a little chat here about the issues where there seems to be no middle ground open for discussion, and I think that we really need to discuss the middle ground. So what we're talking about is this immigration thing, and I think immigration is good, but there's a big but there. There needs to be some limitations to it. There needs to be some reason to it. We can't just open and let everyone in. There's a carrying capacity to the country. If you have a fully open border, you break the carrying capacity of a country. We have a healthcare system, we have an education system, we have roadways, we have housing.
You have water, yeah.
We've got a lot of things. So I want to kind of get into this discussion a bit here. And we're talking to Mo about, like, you know, he's an immigrant. He understands this. He comes from other countries. And apparently Algeria has free healthcare. Free. Way better than Canada. But we experience the same issues around the world. And so rather than it coming from me, a white guy who, you know, oh, da-da-da, you're fucking Nazi. No. I like immigration. I love all kinds of cultures. My issue is not a racial one. My issue is a carrying capacity to the country. And so, Mo, like, what do you think about this issue with open borders?
No, it's open border for every people is no good. I know this not like it for immigrant. Me, I'm immigrant here. Me, this every country example, you need to take 500 immigrant, 5,000 immigrant, do for 5,000 immigrant. No put more. Because every immigrant you need for hard card, you need for work, you need for school. You know, take open door after when you come here and after see all you care. You can't put any people who you come in your country, you call all you care, because this all you care, he give you go for still, he give you work entertainable, you work for any for much for price, he give you $10 per hour. No. You need to take for hard car, you need to take school, you need to take best life, you need to take, why you thinking coming for Canada? He call you come in Canada, you have good life and good school and good height for hard car, and day like this. After you come and you sleep outside. This is no right for any country. No, just open and come. You need to take number, how much you need this immigrant.
Yeah, there needs to be a very real discussion about, like, how many people can we sustainably bring in on a monthly or yearly basis.
It's some people, he lifting only 500 pounds. How you give you 600? It's no right. You lifting 500, put 500, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good analogy. The idea of lifting weights, and you know. You go to the gym and you can lift, say you can bench press 100 pounds.
Just press 100 pounds.
So you can press 100 pounds and 100 pounds, and maybe if you keep working out, maybe you can lift a little bit more. But if all of a sudden you're lifting 100 pounds and then somebody's like, here, lift 200 pounds. Now what's gonna happen? you drop that bar on yourself and you crush yourself.
Yeah.
It becomes unsustainable. It becomes something that it doesn't work anymore. I mean, I've had a bit of a discussion here about this, and one of the things I think, and I mean this is my personal opinion, some of you may agree or disagree, my thought is that we need two factors to immigration. One is what is the carrying capacity, and the other is language. If we don't have a common language that we can all speak, then we have a division, and it divides society. Things like I'd seen a while back in France, I believe, or no, it was Switzerland. It was in Switzerland. There was a musical group who was practicing for their next album, and the neighbor called the police on them because they thought they were Muslim extremists. They were singing in Gaelic, which is a very white language, not at all extremist Muslim, but they didn't understand the language, so there was an assumption made that caused a division. And I'm curious what you think about this whole language thing.
Yeah, it's language. You need language. You need go school because you live in here for people English. You need learn English. You know, stay like this for 25 here in Canada. You know, speak English. You know, speak French. You come and speaking for another language. This is no right. You need what you coming for. Any country for you need best for same language for country, no same language for your country.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to have many languages.
Yeah. Here you have too many school in the night, in after night. It's closed for midnight. You work every day, go to school 7 and 9 p.m.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been living here in the Vancouver area for a very long time, and there's these pockets here that people don't. I go there and I can't communicate with anyone because they don't speak the languages that are common here. And I understand some people get all up in arms. Oh, do you speak native tongues and this and that? I mean, I've learned a couple of words. I've stood on the front lines with many natives to defend our planet and defend this beautiful nature that we have here. And I think it's very important that we take nature into consideration. But language is important to help create a cohesive society. Yes, you have another tongue that you maybe spoke before, and I understand learning languages is difficult. But we want to build a cohesive society where we can all get along, where we can all joke around, we can all have fun, and we cannot get offended at each other so easily. And if you can't understand what I'm saying, how are you supposed to be able to be empathetic? How are you supposed to be able to work together as a team? I mean, it goes back to an old, I'm not a religious person, but many of you know the story of Babel, where the people of Earth were building a big tower to the heavens, and God was like, no, you're not going to do that. You know the solution? I'm going to make y'all speak different languages. And all of a sudden, they couldn't work together anymore. It was divided, the tower failed, it all went to shit. And I think that has an important lesson in it, where if we can't speak to each other, if we can't talk to each other, how can we ever work together? And I mean, Mo, how long have you been in Canada now?
I have 2 years in Montreal and 6 months in Saskatchewan and 3 months in Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver has definitely become very Chinese, and you know what? The food's amazing. It's great. But once again, we get into this idea of like mass importation of culture beyond what is the carrying capacity. I mean, we have a housing crisis here. We have a labor crisis. There's too much foreign money that's come in. So now, I mean, I've been working with this construction company. We have a very hard time finding people who are able to work for the industry wages, you know, somewhere between $15 and $30 an hour. It's very hard to find people to work for that because the cost of housing is so high because of all the money that's come in. and there's not enough houses because there's so many people coming in. It's driving the cost of everything up to a point where it's no longer sustainable for work, it's no longer sustainable for living, it's no longer sustainable for many things. And it's, I think a lot of people will be quick to jump to racial ideologies, but it's not an issue of race. I think it's a systemic issue. It's a problem with the way the system has been set up. That's just an open door policy. And I think, yes, immigration is good. We need to have some level of immigration. It keeps things interesting. But we need to figure out ways to create a cohesive society. And Mo here, he speaks French, speaks English, speaks Arabic. And he learned when he come here. You know, in a couple of weeks, I guess he's going to be starting ESL to up his English skills.
Last time, Dustin, you need to ask some question for police. This police speak Chinese, no speak English, man. This is terrible, man.
Yeah.
I need to ask for something for police. I learn 100% for French. I learn 50-50 in English. I now learn Chinese, man. This is Canadian, now Chinese. How learn Chinese in Canada, man?
Yeah, it's a craziness. It's a craziness. Yeah, we gotta go this way. Yep, the world we live in. I think it's important that we have discussions, and I think that it's important that people on the left don't be too quick to label people as far-righters, as Nazis, as whatever else. There's a lot of people on the middle ground. I mean, I've stood at many protests, I've held many signs, a very vocal activist through my life. But the behavior of late that's been shown by the left has put a big distaste in my mouth. Antifa, you guys need to chill out. The violence, the aggression, it's not impressing anyone, it's not winning any points with anyone, it's not going to get us anywhere, it's not going to further the discussion. We really need to work to create a cohesive society. We need to work to understand each other, and that requires us taking some time. We need to learn each other's languages, you know. If you come to Canada, please learn French, learn English, learn one of them, please. It's not unreasonable, you know. You want to be part of this great country, and be part of it. Be part of it.
Yeah, because here no excuse for English. Because in school it stay every night. It closed for midnight, man. This is midnight. It's easy for every people where you're working. You can go take school 7 and 9 p.m. or 9 and 10. You can school for today while you will not work. This is no excuse for English, man.
Yep. Now listen, it's not just coming from me. We have a carrying capacity in this country. We want to have a good education system. We want to have a good healthcare system. Hey, just look at the news. Our healthcare system is already suffering. We already don't have enough finances to take care of it. So let's take a serious question. Let's look at it. I'm not saying stop immigration. We need some, for sure. Got to bring awesome guys like this over. You know, he's a Muslim. He's fine. He ain't no terrorist. He ain't no crazy man. He's hilarious. He's got a sense of humor just like the rest of us. We got to stop the rhetoric, and we got to learn to talk to each other. And I really hope we can get past some of this rhetoric that's tearing our country apart. And I hope that the rest of you can open your eyes to what's going on and try to make this country a better place. And that doesn't mean getting angry at people. It doesn't mean labeling people. It means learning to talk to people. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard sometimes, you know. Get past your opinions, get past your beliefs, open your mind, talk to people. You know what? We're not all that different. we're pretty much the same, you know. Maybe a couple different shades of skin. That's about it. And as soon as you start labeling people, as soon as you go, oh, he's a white supremacist, or oh, he's a terrorist, or oh, he's this or that, then you create a wall. And we all got really angry when this whole idea of the wall came up down south. I mean, it's already a wall anyways. Try going through the states anyways. But we all agree that that's a wrong thing. So stop building walls in our own societies. We need to get past these metaphysical walls. And I think one of the biggest ways is encourage language learning. The more languages you can speak, the better. Learn to communicate. And think about the carrying capacity. We need to have a very educated, intellectual discussion about this in our country. What is the carrying capacity of Canada? How many people can we sustain? How many people can we bring in every year and still have a vibrant, open society where we can all have good health care, where we can all have good education, and we can all have a job, and most importantly, where we can all have a place to live? Yeah, the housing one's a big one. Anybody in Vancouver can really understand that. I mean, how is you're looking for a place to live here? I mean,
3 months. 3 months, man. We have 1,200, man.
Yeah, completely unsustainable. Anyways, I'm almost to the job site. Thanks for listening, guys. And
thank you.
I'll have some more of these discussions. I think we need to get to the middle ground here and stop bickering with each other. Love y'all. Stay peaceful.
Thanks.
Have a good one.